Oh, hello everyone. This is me, Dusty Circuit here. Today is going to be the start of, yet another new mission, but this one's gonna be a little, let's just say different or special, at least than like the other types of missions that I've been doing. And it's gonna involve a fairly recently released mod that's a 2 Kerbal Space program that's probably one of the most revolutionary mods really to come to Kerbal Space Program to date. And maybe some of the more astute of my viewers may have noticed at the beginning of my NEM mission, I mentioned that I installed a few new mods. And maybe I haven't mentioned it, but maybe some of the more astute of you may have noticed that it's in my toolbar. And that is the Kerbal Colonies mod. And I currently don't have any colonies made at the moment, but well, the whole purpose of this video is, well, I figured maybe we actually build our first colony. And, well, the purpose of that is, a little, no, I think let me just show you a bit of something that I built first, then this will make more sense. Okay, this craft is really big, so we're gonna have to, zoom out of the normal, spaceplane hangar to be able to see it in its entirety, but yeah. This is gonna be for one of my next, this is gonna be for my next mission to the Kcalbeloh System, but I've drawn it out this long, because I had this idea that I wanted to visit the Anehta System using an interstellar vehicle, and also and instead of using the wormhole to get there, actually go through interstellar space to get there. And it's just kind of a little inspired by one of Bogue's missions. I think it was one of their last missions to the Kcalbeloh planet pack, where they actually went to, I think there were a couple planets, they did a couple moons of the Anehta system that they didn't go to in their earlier videos, and they decided to revisit the Anehta system with an interstellar vehicle to kind of showcase, well, what a real, like, interstellar mission in Kerbal Space Program would look like, not depending on wormholes. And also a way to kind of finish off the Anehta system, like land on the last moon, and also send a probe into the atmosphere of Anehta. So anyway, what my vehicle aims to do is land on all the moons of the Anehta system at once, and even I even decided to throw in another gas giant diving plane that actually is going to go into Anehta's atmosphere and get out of it, kind of like kind of like how I've done in my other missions. And that's what this is going to do. And also I have a couple of other landers that I'm going to use to land on the other moons. And then all my crew quarters is there. And my engines and radiators are all in this section. Like these radiators here are for the antimatter engines, or that are on the engines themselves, are for those. And I believe the gray radiators are for those are for the fusion reactors. To actually provide power, to actually power the spacecraft. Will not just propel it. And I'm also going to be using the Nova antimatter facility, which is basically it can convert either liquid hydrogen into antimatter, or it can also convert like other heavier materials into antimatter. Though for this craft I am strictly only using liquid hydrogen and antimatter to power this. And I think these two radiators are for the antimatter converter, and then I think those two in the back are for the atmospheric harvesters. And this is a little bit of a controversial thing in the KSP community, actually sending an interstellar craft into a planet's atmosphere. But I've decided to do that as a way to refuel this. Well, I guess the realistic way you would do this, I guess, would be either you have a separate, like, shuttle, like, that goes into the atmosphere of a gas giant, collects fuel, and then docks up to the interstellar craft, and then just puts its fuel into the interstellar craft, and then undocks, collects more fuel, re-rendezvous, and docks again with the craft, and then just kind of rinse and repeat that until the interstellar vehicle is fully refueled. But more just for the sake of just making this more practical for just playing a video game as concerns, I decided to just go with the kind of using the shield, like the like the interstellar particle shield on the front, to actually also serve as a heat shield for atmospheric entry, so this thing can also refuel its fuel tanks. So, the way I see it is, this is Kerbal Space Program, and I mean, it's really up to you how you want to, like, Kerbal Space Program is a sandbox game, and it's really up to you how you want to play in that sandbox. Do you want to, like, you want to do things with a more realistic, sensible approach, or do you want to do it the crazy way, like, you know, just kind of taking liberties in the fact that this is a sandbox game, and that KSP doesn't really simulate more realistic, like the more realistic aspects of space travel. So I've also, as you can see, I've taken a bit of inspiration from another YouTuber with my with my actual design of this craft, at least with the coloring and the letters on these fuel tanks. And I'm some of you some of you more some of you people that are more like active in the KSP community probably immediately know who I'm borrowing this idea from, but for those of you who are not, that is the YouTuber Gates. I don't know if I'm saying their name right, but they made what I'm taking in my inspiration from is one of their crafts that they built to go to the Anehta System and the Kerbal Star Systems 2 planet pack. So that's kind of what I'm taking my inspiration from with this design here. I just really thought the letters were also the letters showing like the name of its mission also is pretty cool. And also I decided to kind of color like the tanks a bit to kind of reflect the overall vibe, I guess, of the Anehta system, which is kind of like kind of light blue and like gray, because that's kind of what colors the planet Anehta actually looks like. And yeah. So that's pretty much it for actually how this how this craft will work. But as far as how I'm going to launch it, well, there's quite a few different ways you could launch this craft this big. One way, I believe is probably the most common, is in the KSP community, is just cheat it into orbit using the Alt F12 menu that I think I've actually used a few times in my series. And well, because to actually launch something this big, you would need, like, especially all in one piece, you would need, like, some enormous rockets. And also it would probably be pretty laggy on the game. Like especially flying this thing, like, through the atmosphere and trying to get it into orbit. Like, I mean, that probably could be done, but this giant, like, the giant shield on the front of it kind of makes it, like, really unaerodynamic. And I believe, like, some of you have watched my series. I actually managed to launch something with a shield like this before, and that was I believe my ship that I sent to the Kcalbeloh System. Having to I'm having to hold down the controls just to keep this thing straight. Having to really fight this thing. And I actually managed to launch that one, but even with my launch pad, my launch site that I made on the highest mountain on Kerbin with Kerbal constructs, that was still a really huge pain to get into orbit because like I had to go really slow, like probably even below like 100 meters per second for a lot of the flights, just to be able to control this thing like on its descent through the atmosphere. And it's like only until I got about 20 kilometers above sea level that like I actually got comfortable enough to actually accelerate faster. So that I was able to pull that off, but it was really difficult. And I think for a craft this big, I think it's better off to kind of go to other means for actually getting it into existence. So that's option one, or I guess two different options. Another option is this mod called Extraplanetary Launch Pads, which it adds some parts that allow you to and also read new resources to actually allow you to build spacecrafts like on like and launch spacecrafts on like other planets. And I believe like it has a mining drill and like a refinery and a smeltery and some like additional like tanks to hold the new resources that it adds in. Like basically I think it uses like a resource called metal ore, and then you refine that into metal, and then you refine that into rocket parts, and rocket parts is what you use to actually build spacecrafts. And I have actually experimented a little bit with that mod myself one day, and I was able to launch one of my spacecrafts that I used in a previous mission with that mod. But I found it was just how it spawns the ship in to just be rather buggy. And it's like half the time it would just spawn it in an impossible position and then just cause the Kraken to go crazy and destroy it. Which was a little hilarious to watch, but not so hilarious in the fact that that it doesn't do what I intended it to do. So I guess another option would be to, I think this is the option I was more leaning towards, and that is to actually build like an airstrip launch facility on the surface of a very low gravity body. So it actually would be possible to just kind of launch it like from the runway and just kind of have it more or less floating because the gravity is not strong enough to really cause it to fall towards the surface. And then I can actually get it into orbit that way. And that was the option that I was considering until I found out about the Kerbal Colonies mod, which it actually it actually allows you to actually build what you can build like in Kerbal constructs, but in a more like I guess like survival friendly kind of way, like using actual resources as opposed to just building it in like as if you're in creative mode. So I think that's what we're actually going to be doing. So really how this Kerbal Colonies mod works is it basically it allows you to build what are called statics in Kerbal Space Program, which are like these, kind of like all these buildings, different buildings you see at the Kerbal Space Center. Like each of these are a static. And then that I think you can place using Kerbal constructs. And the Kerbal Colonies mod allows you to actually build that in a way that actually is more like survival or like science or career mode friendly. And like in a way that like uses actual resources as opposed to just building it like as if you're in the sandbox mode. But so we're actually gonna do what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you another thing that I built. So this is going to be my plane that I'm actually, or my craft that I'm actually going to use to build my colony. Well, give me a little bit. I wanna finish like detailing the wings. Hey, that looks better. So, okay, so how this is gonna work is I have so this is actually using a mod called the Mark IV the Mark IV expansion, and it adds these like these bigger spaceplane parts. Like you can see, like you have a few different couple different cockpits and all these different fuselage parts, and a couple of like even really cool looking RCS pods, and even like a little docking clamp you can actually put on the front of the cockpit. And even some cargo bays. And these parts. I think that's pretty much it, but this is actually a mod I've seen a YouTuber actually playing, like actually doing stuff with quite a long time ago, like probably several years ago. And like I think they built like they called it the Saturn V carrier.
Primarily curb inside. I think there was one other thing I installed. Oh yes, I installed another parts pack, Retro Future something or other. And I can actually, is it 2? Nope, that's the wrong one. Oops, disabled all the engines. Yeah, that's totally what I wanted to do. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make this a little more fuel efficient as I go up. Well, you know, supposedly fuel efficient. I don't know. Then again, I do want to get up there fast, so let me turn off all the engines because I accidentally hit the wrong button because I'm not paying too close attention like I should be. I'm also going
and it was like a plane that could actually send like a whole rocket. Like it actually carry a whole rocket in its cargo bay. And they made a whole bunch of videos testing it and kind of going through all the their different design iterations until they come up with one that actually works. And I've experimented with this mod a little bit, and in my own time playing this game, but this is going to be the first time I'm going to use it in my Let's Play, which I'm quite excited about. Because, I mean, unless you want to use this to either just carry a lot of Kerbals or a lot of cargo, or actually, like, carry, like, another, like, craft, like, in the cargo bay, like, there kind of isn't really much of a purpose for this mod in the stock game. But, you know, this whole, like, mechanic, how you start colonies with the Kerbal Colonies mod actually really, like, gives me an opportunity to make use of this mod, finally. And, I mean, I could just build, like, a rocket that just sends, like, a lander with cargo on it, but this is like way cooler, actually sending a plane to actually go to my destination to build my colony. And so how that's actually how you start a colony is you need Kerbals. Well, you need two things. You need Kerbals and you need rocket parts. And that's the main cargo that this space plane is going to be carrying. And like my Kerbals, I actually put, like, I have two of the Mark IV passenger cabins on each end here. And I think this, not counting what the cockpit can hold, is can hold like 48 Kerbals, which is like insane. I feel like kind of an insane number for well, I think this is the most, and like Kerbals that like any other plane I built so far can actually hold. And on the rocket parts are actually in this are going to be in this cargo container here, which is a part of the stock-like station parts expansion mod, I believe. Yeah, it's this thing here. I think it is the biggest container that's in the mod, actually. So, like, I thought this one was the biggest, but you know, this has a lot more mass, and thus yeah, this has a considerable more larger amount of volume than that one. And so really the rest of what I have in here is some batteries. Like, I think these are from the Kcalbeloh Systems mod. And a couple of fusion reactors from the Far Future Technologies mod, because these, once again, I've decided to use these engines that I used on my plane that I sent to Nem and to Eve. Mostly because they have a crazy, like, good, like, specific impulse in vacuum. So, like, once this thing is in space, they'll actually provide it with a decent amount of delta V to actually get to its destination. And then up front, I just have some RTGs. I guess just as a auxiliary power source, like aside from these reactors, and a couple of radiators, which are going to be for this convertotron and those two drills, which is provide a way I can refuel this thing like on the surface of a planet that I landed on. Oh yeah, now that I think of it, this thing doesn't have a ton of monopropellant fuel. Wow, I really love this. I love the procedural parts mod, how I can just make really clean fuel tanks that look like that. I mean, this might be a little overkill for like monopropellant fuel, but I'd rather have more than I think I need. Okay, the center of mass is going to be a little... Oh, actually a little out of whack because of this cargo container, which I've also found presents a little bit of a stability problem in space when also doing burns, but one perk of the persistent thrust mod is that it kind of also, some might call it cheating, but it kind of allows you to, like, even if you have an unbalanced spacecraft, you can just enable time warp, and it just stays in place. It doesn't like account for that. Anyway, let's oh, and these things on the outside are the I had to get a little creative with where I put radiators, because so with the Stirling like what the part of the Stirling system mod that adds these radiators, like I really, these are like I really love these. Like they really allow you to put radiators on like a plane that's actually flying, like a normal radiators, like extendable ones like this, like that extend out like this. Those are no good in an atmosphere. They will just break off. Where these radiators actually can work in an atmosphere, which is why I really like them. But one of my gripes is that there's no, like, there's no radiator that's just a flat panel. Because that would really come in handy, like, for a plane like this, where, like, that has a fuselage where these radiators don't conform to it. But, like, it has big wings, so I can just stick the radiators on the wings. But what I did to make this is I just took the 1.25 meter radiators, put them there, and then used the move tool to do that. And then I just made them longer, like that. And those are mostly gonna serve to cool like the fusion reactors. So I guess now it's just to fill this plane up with Kerbals and then launch it. Yeah, I think I can even show what the and also these parts have free IVA support as well. which is quite quite a sight to behold. Well, I think that's might be like an EVA hatch down there. Oh, that's an EVA hatch down there. I'm not sure what that one's for. Yeah, I'm not sure why that one's blocked. Okay, I've had to make some adjustments to this just to actually make this plane traversable and free IVA. So anyway, you know, this is what the passenger cabins look like fully populated with Kerbals. And there's the second one, the second forward passenger cabin. And that just goes to the where the cargo bays are, so that isn't traversable. But let's just say, really, like with this plane, I guess there's a separate there's just a separate entrance, like towards the aft section of the plane, and that's how these aft crew compartments are accessible. So let's fire up our fusion reactors and get this plane flying. Probably gonna have to use the entire runway to take off, but that's okay. Man, I don't know why. Okay, apparently I done goofed. I only had control surfaces on this wing, hence why I was not able to lift off that last time. So hopefully this. I mean, I tested this plane and it worked. So I was confused why it didn't that time. Well, that's why. because of how cumbersome this plane is, we're going to have to accelerate down the whole runway and then pitch up. And usually I like to lift off before the end of the runway, but with a plane this size, that's probably almost impossible to do. It has to be one of my favorite cockpit cockpits in this game. switching from air breathing to the fuel burning or rocket engine mode manually with an action group. I'm not like, these do work automatically, but if you have this many engines, it tends to be prone to some engines working, some engines not, and that causes asymmetric thrust, and then the plane just fishtails like crazy. Okay, so now we just say to coast up to Apoapsis. And I think we'll just do our orbital insertion and then our escape burn right in one go. And I decided to do like 2 action groups for my engines so that I can just have for like the in-space travel, I just could have like half of them turned off to hopefully save on fuel consumption. I don't know if that actually matters, or I don't know if this actually gives me more delta V than if I were to have all of them on, but it seems like in my testing that it may have made a difference, so I think we'll just do that. Well, so about where we're gonna be going to set up this colony, I've kind of thought about like different options, but I think, well, I think maybe probably one of the best options is maybe to go to the further out planets. Like maybe even like the minor planets that are out really far away. But ideally what I would want to do this is a planet with a lot of flat grounds. Well, I think there are ways you can edit the terrain. I think it's probably be easiest if we choose a planet with flat grounds. But what I'm thinking is the moon. What I am thinking is the moon Ovok and the Sarnus system. Is, well, I mean, it is like a weird egg shape, but it is mostly has flat surfaces that should more easily allow us to expand the colony, and also a place to actually build and launch the interstellar vehicle. That's really the whole point of my colony. Yeah, so let's leave Kerbin. And then really from here, it's just gonna be, well, pretty much just a normal mission to Sarnus up until the point that we land on Ovok. Okay, that's our transfer, pretty much complete. Or to our transfer burn, that is. Oh. Also from here, I think what I'll do I think we're definitely gonna need to refuel the plane at this point, but I think what I'll do, actually, I think we'll actually go for a landing on Tecto. Well, because its atmosphere will do all the work of most of the work of slowing down for us. And will also allow us to refuel the plane. I think that's good. Okay, there's Sarnus and there's Tecto. And now we're entering its atmosphere. And I also really like the firefly effects for Tecto are pretty unique. Oh, that is really cool. That's actually like a mountain that's sticking above the clouds. think we want to go over here, though. We actually want to go where there's like preferably flat ground and also probably an ocean maybe we could land on. This thing turns very slowly, apparently. I don't know, maybe it's we're in the upper atmosphere, or... Okay, this is what we want. Oh, I wonder what that is over there. Maybe I'll investigate what that is, but... yeah, I don't know if that's like below the water or something. Maybe. Anyway, I think we'll go up to that land over there. I think we'll just water land this thing and just kind of boat it up onto the coast. Okay, this thing's not wanting to turn. I don't know, I guess I'll just, do that. Okay, I think we'll park here. And then we will... Oh, if we can not slide, that would be nice. And then just deploy the mining drills. Okay, we don't want that. Okay, I think I'll just go to a more flatter area. Okay, I guess we'll call this good. Now we can finally refuel the plane. Okay, just like that, we're fully refueled. In fact, that actually went like pretty fast. Like normally I think these would take maybe a few like day-night cycles on the surface of a planet or moon to do, but because I have like 48 some engineer Kerbals on this plane, I was able to make that go quite a bit faster. So now, well, as it's time to actually do the objective of our mission, well, once we get off of Tecto. And then we have this bug. Let me fix that. Oh, that's really cool. Like a nice Sarnus rise there. And now from here, we just have to lower our orbit towards Ovok, then get an encounter with Ovok and land on it. Yeah, looks like Tukto's gonna be getting in my way, unfortunately. We also gotta keep in mind Ovok is, with getting our encounter, we gotta keep in mind Ovok is egg-shaped. Which means we gotta keep our... Actually I'd say, like, the safe periapsis would be around 15 kilometers. At least that is what it is in my experience. Oh, this will go with that. And we might even be able to see us getting closer. Oh, and there it is right there. Well, you can't quite see it very well because we're behind it. Hey, we're actually not, our relative speed isn't too bad, even. Just normally getting into an orbit with this is pretty fun because of its very low gravity. It's like, makes it very difficult to actually get into an encounter. I think I'll go for about a 30-kilometer orbit. And from here, as well, where we get to pick where we're gonna land. Oh, that's a pretty cool shot. But anyway, I don't think it really matters where we land to start this colony, I guess. I mean, it looks like from the sky here, it looks pretty rough. But I think that's just the way it looks from higher up in space. And the actual ground is gonna be a lot, like, smoother. I'm thinking maybe around here would be a good landing site. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make a maneuver. Yeah, this is gonna be a pretty slow descent because Ovok's gravity is very low. Hey, I feel like this might be a good spot. Okay, I'm just gonna... Yeah, I'm just gonna turn off SAS and just let us rest here. This video is probably long enough as it is, so guess I'll just end this here with us landed where we're gonna build the colony, and then the next video, I guess I'll take you along for the ride of how I'm gonna build this colony. And then hopefully by the end of that video, I'll get to the point where I build the interstellar vehicle. And then the next video after that, we'll do the actual mission of the interstellar vehicle to the Kcalbeloh System. So if you liked what you saw, remember to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to see more of my content, be sure to hit the bell for notifications. And peace out. Bye.